episode of A Tuesday Jew. This is a space for regular Jewish people trying hard to stay real, spiritual, and sane in the middle of a busy modern world. Here we talk honestly about what it feels like to be a random Jew on a Tuesday afternoon, not just on Shabbos and Yom Tov. We are working together as an Am to keep our Yiddishkeit alive when life is pulling us in 10 different directions. Today's episode is on Parshas Eikev. You know, that moment in the week when everything feels fine on paper and dead inside. Bills are mostly paid, kids are more or less okay, there's food in the fridge, you've got a job, maybe even a nice car, and somehow you feel completely disconnected. You're scrolling, you're reacting, you're informed, but you're not really there. That's the world of Parshas Eikev is talking to. It's not a fantasy desert from 3,300 years ago. Our world, 2026, phones buzzing, another war headline, another speech from Mamdani or whoever is blaming your existence on a microphone. Another day where the world tells you you're either the villain or the distraction. And Eikev walks into that noise and says one sentence that should scare you a little. When it gets good, you're going to forget. Not when it's hard, when it's good. When you're eating, when you're satisfied, when you finally breathe, and when the Torah says the real danger shows up, the danger of comfort, the danger of numbness, the danger of looking at your life and quietly thinking, I did this, I built this, I'm holding this up. You don't say it out loud, but it creeps in, and once that creeps in, your whole world, inner world, turns drifting, and you still keep Shabbos. You still send the kids to school. You still give tzedakah, but something in the core moves a few inches off the center. Gratitude gets thinner. Memory gets fuzzier. You're living Jewish on the outside and spiritually on autopilot on the inside. That's Eikev's nightmare. Now, this week, there's another piece of the story on the calendar. This Shabbos is the anniversary of the Chevron massacre of 1929, just a couple of weeks after Tisha B'Av, right when they're trying to climb out of the 3 weeks. The date shows up on the calendar and reminds us normal in Jewish history is always fragile. Always. So I want to tell you, Chevron as a story, not as a history report. Scene 1. In the mid-1920s, Slobodka Yeshiva is one of the great Torah worlds in Lithuania. It's a whole universe of learning and dignity. And inside, called Godless Adam, man's greatness, not ego, greatness, walking like you matter because you're living in front of Hashem. And the leaders look around Europe and feel the ground burning under their feet. Draft decrees, pressure, instability. You know that feeling when something is technically still okay, but your every instinct in you says, this is going to blow up. That was them. So they did something wild. They picked up that world and moved it to Chevron. Not Yerushalayim, not New York, not staying safe in the old neighborhoods. Chevron, the city of Avos, the place where Abraham walked, where the Miaros HaMachpelah sits in stone, like a hard drive of Jewish memory. They're not going as tourists, they're going as builders. Imagine 120, 150, 200 Bachrim walking through the streets of Chevron. Young guys, black hats, long coats, tired from learning, trying to live with refinement. They open up Beis Medrash, dorms near the Oak of Abraham, Eshel Abraham. They start learning, and the whole city starts to wake up a little. That trait picks up that's the new energy in the air. Torah doesn't just sit in the building, it leaks into the streets. Even some of the local Arabs start hosting them, respecting them. There's this amazing letter where a student writes home that by refinement of action and nobility of heart, they turn enemies into friends. You can't picture, you can hear learning, the smell, the dust, see the boys walking with that Slobodka posture, straight back, quiet, dignity for a while. It looks like a dream. Scene 2, Shabbos morning, August 24th, 1929, same city, same Beis Medrash, same boys. Riots explode across the country in Chevron. It becomes a nightmare. In the space of a few hours, 67 Jews are murdered. 24 of them are these yeshiva students. Kids from far from home, sitting in a room of Gemaras, silently facing a mob, armed with knives, sticks, and hatred, and the illusion of normal in Chevron evaporates. Centuries of continuous Jewish presence in that city, and that day, just like that, a place that felt eternal becomes empty. The story that sounds like we planted Torah in the lands and it's flourishing turns we thought it was stable and it shattered. Some were protected. Not every Arab in the city turned into monsters. Reality is complicated, but the larger picture is brutal. Refinement didn't cancel violence. Didn't dignity erase hatred? Being in a holy place didn't guarantee safety. The yeshivas uprooted, bodies in the street, blood in the cheder, and the city that was supposed to be a symbol of new Torah life in the land is now a symbol of fragile Jewish normal actually is. Scene 3. The story doesn't end there. Because Jews rarely let the story end, we were destroyed. The yeshiva relocates to Yerushalayim. Same Torah, same Slobodka, DNA, same demand for inner greatness, new city they replant. The one move is the whole theology. Torah can be wounded. Torah can be chased, attacked, covered in blood, but as long as Jews are willing to pick up and move, it cannot be uprooted. We replant. That's what we do. Now put Eikev and Chevron side by side. Eikev says, when you eat and you're satisfied, the danger is forgetting where it all comes from. Chevron says, when you think something is just normal, don't ever assume it's permanent. Eikev warns the illusion of self-sufficiency. Chevron exposes the illusion of stability. Comfort, forgetting, illusion. That's the line that ties the Parsha and the massacre together. Now bring that into 2026, into your Tuesday. We're not living with knives in the streets of Chevron. We're living with microphones and cameras, politicians who can demonize you in front of millions, people in one viral clip. You watch Mamdani stand up and talk about Israel, about Jews, about colonialism, and genocide. With that certain tone that says your existence is the problem. You watch crowds cheer that. You watch the world slide back very comfortably into seeing Jews as the villain again. And then you close the video and you go back to your life. Bills, carpool, WhatsApp, Shul, TikTok, Amazon, Netflix. You go from our people are being publicly hated to I need to order diapers in 3 minutes. That switch is from existential fear to Costco. That's where Eikev lives now. Because the danger isn't only being attacked, the danger is going numb. Hearing about war, terror, anti-Semitism, political hatred, where it's Mamdani or some other face this week, and just absorbing it as more content, another clip, another take, another argument. And in the middle of that, forgetting two things: how fragile our normal really is. How much of life right now is pure undeserved blessing. It's weird, right? On the screen, you see a world that could turn on you. On another screen, you see your kids asleep in their beds in a quiet, air-conditioned house. Both are true. Chevron is true. Amazon Prime is true. Eikev is begging. You don't let either truth make you forget Hashem. Not the fear, not the comfort. I want to bring in two Torah voices here as a Sfarim on a safe shelf, but as I once heard this. The first is Slobodka. Slobodka's whole thing was godless Adam, human greatness, but not the Instagram kind, that you're amazing, treat yourself nonsense. Real greatness. The way I heard it once was like, walk like someone who is seen by Hashem. That's it. Not walk like a boss, not walk like you own the place, not walk like you're seen. Seen means your actions matter, your words matter, your patience with your kids at 7:30 a.m., 7:30 p.m. matters, your reaction to the latest anti-Semitic clip matters, your bracha on a slice of bread matters. Slobodka boys in Chevron weren't walking around thinking, we're safe because we're holy. They're walking around like we have to live with refinement because we're being watched. This is a very kind of godless. That's a very so in 2026, godless Adam might sound like this. If you're going to get a Jew with a phone and a bank account and kids and a mortgage, at least don't be spiritually sloppy about it. Don't live like a random consumer. Live like someone whose choices are seen, which means gratitude is not optional. Humility is not optional. Memory is not optional. Being awake is not optional. Godless is not ego. Godless is responsibility. The second voice is what I call the voice of the Ger Rebbe. All the Ger Rebbes. I once heard it framed this way. Big moment don't save you. Small regular moves do. That's the whole energy of Ger Hasidus. Not fireworks, pattern. You can cry by a Chevron kever or at a Tisha B'Av Kinna and then be spiritually dead by Tuesday afternoon. You can feel profound about Mamdani's hatred and the danger to Am Yisrael, and then waste 3 hours of doom scrolling with no tefillah, no bracha, and no change. The Ger Rebbes say, show me what you do every day. Show me if after hearing about Chevron, after about anti-Semitism, and after learning Eikev, you actually change one tiny pattern. Do you say one bracha with real kavanah? Do you bench with actual words instead of mumbling at the table? Do you stand up for mincha on time, even when your life feels busy? But okay. Discipline, regulatory, quiet, steal, because that's how a soul survives. History, not by feeling deeply once a year, but by repeating the right truth again and again until they stick. But the next to Eikev, and it lands like this. If the danger is forgetting, the antidote is habit, not inspiration. Habit. You don't fight numbness with a big speech. You don't fight numbness with one consistent act that keeps memory alive, even when your mood is gone. So there, does that leave a regular Jew heading into this Shabbos, the Shabbos of Eikev, right after the 3 weeks, on the anniversary of the Chevron massacre, in a year that politicians are shouting that your people shouldn't exist? I want to give you one move. Not 10, not a checklist. One. Here it is. Pick one thing you do all the time that tastes like comfort and turn it into conscious act of gratitude this week. That's it. One thing, for example, every time you drink coffee this week, stop for 5 seconds before the first sip and say, "This is from you," out loud in your head, but actually say it. Or every dinner this week, bench slowly on one paragraph. Just one, not the whole thing, one piece where you really feel I am not self-sustaining. Or every day until Shabbos, pick one moment where you feel safe. House, lot, kids, home, AC running, and whisper, "This is not guaranteed. Thank you." You don't need to tell anyone you're doing it. You don't need to post it. You don't need to turn it into a program. You don't need to break the spell of Eikev's danger, the spell that says this is normal. I did this. I will always be like this. Chevron says, I won't always be like this. Eikev says, don't forget where this comes from. Slobodka says, I live like you're seen. Ger says, make gratitude a habit. And one move this week is to pick a place in your daily comfort and insert memory there. One act of resistance against spiritual numbness. If you do that honestly, just once a day, then the Chevron date on the calendar won't just be a sad story, and Eikev won't just be another Parsha. They'll both become part of how live Tuesday and how a tired Jew in 26 is already a very big thing. Thank you very much, and have an amazing Shabbos and an amazing